No!
Forgive me, Lord, for what I'm about to do.
Gasp! What has everyone going crazy for? Peggy, Dale, and Hank? It might have something to do with the dreaded Y2K. Remember when everyone went crazy because they thought the computers weren't fit for Y2K? So instead of going to the year 2000, it went to 1900, where planes will fall. Total computer apocalypse. We're gonna be talking about Hillenium, the New Year's episode of King of the Hill, where they tackled the dreaded Y2K. That never happened. I mean, come on. I guess people didn't realize that everything was ready for 4 digit numbers instead of 2. So, with that being said, let's get into the episode. We open the episode with Hank picking a tree for Christmas with that really nice shot from him inside the snow globe. It also raises the question of whether or not he really enjoys shooting down a tree every year with his dad and likes saying the words, "Ready, aim, timber." We're then introduced to Chappie, and considering Hank and him know each other by their first name, kinda confirms my previous statement. He lives in a cabin, poops in an outhouse, and eats what he kills. If you don't believe me, I'll let Chappie speak for himself.
I live in a shack, I poop in an outhouse, I eat what I kill. Let the grid go down, Lord. I don't need it.
Let's not forget the fact that he makes himself a mean bit of cornbread without all them electrical equipment.
Make it myself with no electric tools.
Must be the elbow grease makes it taste so good, huh?
That or the Lord.
You know, it's a shame that Chappie's only in one episode. It would have been interesting to see how someone off-grid handles their day-to-day life outside of this episode.
I tell you what, man, them Y2K, man, they know when the mainframe's gonna come crashing down on that grid, man. They look like a damn apocalypse now, man. They don't the horror. The horror.
What I think is interesting about this episode is how, while Hank is trying to be calm, his neighbors around him are getting concerned about the upcoming Y2K. Meanwhile, someone else is calm, and you'll never guess who that is.
Oh, Lord. Dale. You know, this Y2K thing is tailor-made for paranoid freaks like him.
Gentlemen, sorry I'm late, but I had a fantastic day. I went to the Army-Navy store.
What'd you buy, a battleship?
A battleship? Hank, don't be silly.
No, Hank, don't be a silly. Why, I bought an American flag decal. It signifies my full faith and confidence in the United States government in these trying and uncertain times.
Yep, that's right. It's none other than our local paranoid, Dale Gribble. Wait, Dale's calm during this whole situation? What? Of course, that was all a facade, and Dale's been stockpiling for this very occasion, having giant barrels of Mountain Dew and gerbils. Well, 1 gerbil and 1 hamster, but don't complain if you don't want them delicious jerpster.
Okie dokie, how's this one? Although there is no L in Christmas, there is Noel in Christmas.
You know it's a real side splitter when Peggy's the only one laughing at the joke.
Oh, I see. The second one is Noel. That's a different word. That is very funny, Mom. Laugh.
Now, I don't know what's cuter. Bobby telling Luann to laugh because she doesn't understand that's a joke, or the laugh that everyone does when they want to make people feel good but don't understand a joke. Bobby and Luann hear Hank Hill walking in to adjust the wreath and ask if anyone wants to go to Megalomart to get some tinsel. Man, Bobby and Luann really must want some tinsel, or they wanted to get out of the house to avoid any more of Peggy's hilarious jokes.
Peggy? Tinsel?
Oh, you ain't gotta tell me twice, Hank Hill. Nothing's better than tinsel. When the Hills arrive at the Megalomart, they notice everyone's getting a little shop crazy.
There's a run on triple ply bunny soft.
What about quilted aloe vera?
I don't know. It's not my brand.
Well, it's my brand.
Hurry, Bobby, who knows the state of your coveted toilet paper. I myself don't have to worry. We Hoots use a very special blend of toilet paper called quilted owls. 4-ply of the most softest butt napkins you can ask for.
He's no nut job. I used to work for Dell Computer. I know things.
Peggy asks if her K-Pro is Y2K compatible and gets this response.
K-Pro? My watch has more memory than that piece of crap.
By the way, if anyone wants to know what computer Peggy had before her new one, she had the 1983 K-Pro 10 with 4 megahertz of processing power. Ooh, fancy. Not really. While making a string of popcorn for decoration, Peggy freaks out about her computer needing copies of everything before she loses it. Meanwhile, Bobby eats all the hard work Hank did making that popcorn string. I've never made popcorn string before, but I can imagine how difficult it can be. Peggy awakens to the horrible sight of a printing error. Oh no, her opinions. Oh, what are people going to do without your most needed opinions? Wanting to make things right with Peggy, Hank goes to the Megalomart, and with the assistance of Dale, he asks for advice on getting a new computer.
A computer? A computer!
Leave it to Dale to get excited over a computer, or as he says, a system. The good old days, where you can drive in the back of a truck and not have to worry about seatbelts and all that stuff. Remember those days? I do. And yes, I'm quite aware that has nothing to do with the review or anything. I just want to reminisce on times long past. Country Hoots. Before going into the computer shop, they stopped by this perfectly named arcade. Now seriously though, I would love to have gone to an arcade place called JRR Tokens. Unfortunately, all the arcade machines are down for compliance testing. However, there's one that still works, the Whack-A-Mole. It's an interesting machine, and Hank schools Bobby in how it works. Which is a really nice bonding moment between Hank and Bobby. Amongst all the chaos, Hank can teach Bobby a thing or two about Whack-A-Mole. Also for foreshadowing, and this funny moment here.
They don't make them like this.
You see, Hank? Left yourself open. Pop, pop. Dale suggests a computer, and Hank wants to make sure that it's Y2K compliable, because Peggy's K-Pro isn't, and after getting laughed at by this computer guy, he lets him know that all home computers are Y2K compliable, and talks about the mainframe when Dale steps in with, honestly, another calm response.
A little more time reading a brilliantly written op-ed piece by former FCC Chairman Y2Hank, then they'd realize that our government has everything under control.
I really like how the show keeps showing this sense of confidence that Dale's has, because he knows that as long as he's prepared, everything will be okay. Or will it?
And I'll take that computer, the gray one.
I don't know, Hank. I would have gotten something more stylish, like the gray one. However, tragedy strikes as the computers are down, and when Hank just tells him to write out a receipt, he gets this response.
Sir, the computer is down. I can't sell you a computer. I can't check our inventory. I can't lock the front door. It's impossible to figure out the sales tax.
It's 8%.
Yes, and 8 is a key on the computer.
You know, I don't know how I feel about this situation. On one hand, you could say something like, just give him the money and he'll write out a receipt and take the computer, blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, you have to account the inventory and stuff going missing, and you have to have it in the computer and everything in the system and blah, blah, blah. What do you guys think? If anyone's an expert on this, let me know if who's in the right, Hank or the computer guy. Because you guys love me so much, I know you guys will find the answer. Meanwhile, Peggy catches Bill drinking alone and asks where Hank is, and to no one's shock, makes it obvious that he knows something. By the way, where was Boom Howard to help Bill out? But since Peggy knows he's alone and how weak-willed Dotrieve is, all she has to do is just butter him up and he'll open like a walnut. While Peggy is trying to get information about what Hank is getting her for Christmas, Bill is going on about comb placement and trying to serenade Peggy. Now if he could have kept going like this, everything would have been fine. But no, the dastardly Peggy had to bring out her trump card, cheese cubes. I also think it's funny that even though she's getting information, she still gets grossed out when feeding Bill cheese.
You had her with the combs.
Oh yeah, you really had her at the palm of your hand. By the way, that's your friend's wife, Bill. Jeez. But to Dale's horror, his planning, his preparing has all been for naught. His Mountain Dew, his food, all his preparations undone by the Puff Puff. And well, let's just say the calm and stability of Dale Gribble takes a noticeable nosedive into the realms of madness. Meanwhile, at Strickland Propane, things become more chaotic as Hank reminds Strickland to take his medication, but him and Debbie make a hasty retreat, leaving Hank to wrestle the madness alone. This won't be the first or last time that Buck Strickland left Hank out to dry while him and his Debbie make a hasty retreat. Hank tries to assure everyone that there's plenty of propane, and when he asks Joe Jack for more, he says, "The tap's run out, honey," when they were supposed to get a shipment today, causing more unrest.
Okay, it's officially an emergency. I'm gonna put a call in to Texas Propane Commissioner Murray Hogarth.
And if you're familiar with the lovely thing called domino effect, you should know the following conversation to take place.
There are procedures in place. What does this have to do with Y2K? Well, what does temporarily non-compliant mean? Murray, stop crying. Act like a commissioner, for God's sake.
So, where's our propane?
And alas, the final pillars of stability crumble beneath Hank's feet as he tumbles down into the depths of Y2 chaos.
Procedures. Forgive me, Lord, for what I'm about to do.
That's right, my faithful viewers. No more calm Hank. No more, it'll be alright. Well, government'll got everything under control. It is now the slow descent into madness. The paranoia. Making sure his crime is covered and no one can see, Hank runs to the kitchen to see if other people know of the shortage of the propane, while Peggy and Luann are busy having a nonchalant conversation. Little did they know the chaos.
Over at work, but Murray Hogarth was crying. Peggy, this computer thing could be big. You were right to be worried.
It's interesting that even when Hank starts to give in to the paranoia, that Peggy and Luann still seem relatively calm, probably because they don't have any idea of the craziness going on outside. Thinking Hank is just being sly about her new computer, they both leave the kitchen as we see Dale standing outside of the house, both Peggy and Luann unaware that he was there the whole time. And boy, let me tell you, this scene is legendary because it shows the true extent of Dale's paranoia.
And all of the planning and the secret hoarding.
You've been hoarding?
Duh! I need foodstuffs. What do you got?
I have got nothing for a liar like you.
Then Dale drops the bombshell on Hank that will set the rest of the episode in motion, or should I say, propane tank. By the way, how does Hank not realize that Dale knows about the propane tanks? I mean, he knows Dale as long as he does. You'd think to be a little more careful in case Dale had, I don't know, secret cameras or something.
You've got 3 tanks of propane.
Which honestly, I don't think Dale needed to blackmail Hank, because let's be honest here, in a situation like this, you're going to need someone like Dale.
Hank, I have dedicated my life to getting ahead of others in times of crisis. This is my time.
Then again, this is Dale Gribble we're talking about, where even though he thinks he's planned ahead and he knows everything about whatever, he's still pretty incompetent.
Fine, it's your time, so what do we do?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But don't worry, Dale. Hank knows a guy that lives in a shack, poops in an outhouse, and eats what he kills. They turn to old Chappie, who tells him they need a wheat grinder and can teach him how to make mung beans and some old paper towels. And Dale gives this response.
That's it? This is your go-to guy? An outhouse and monkey beans? I couldn't take on the freaking bicentennial with an outhouse and monkey beans, let alone the millennia.
You know, I have to admit, even though I and you guys, hopefully, if you're watching this video, know how Dale can be, you have to admit he's absolutely right in this situation.
Listen to me, Clemkin Diddlehopper, and you listen good. 1.2 trillion lines of lethal software code.
Yeah, and 30 billion embedded microchips.
All going down. Utilities will fail. Nuclear weapons will launch themselves.
Now I'm sure all you youngsters who was born after 2000 probably thinking, oh, he's crazy. It couldn't have been like that. But that's the exact mindset people had back in the day. Nuclear weapons going off, appliances failing, total world chaos, all because of a simple computer problem that was never a problem. Hank handles the supplies while sending Tweedledale and Tweedlechappy to get the food, and well, seeing from this little interaction here, should have done both. Honestly, Hank could have gotten all that done by the time these two idiots got done running around. Hank goes to an antique shop for some old-time Christmas gifts and gives Peggy a clock, not a computer. Oh, but when the grid goes down, everyone will be coming to Hank's house to know what time it is. And when Hank gets paranoid, he gets paranoid deep. Hank even going as far as trading in his electric drill for a bag of corn, which honestly traumatizes Bobby. And considering the person Hank Hill is, trading in a power drill for a bag of corn seems really, really out of character for someone like Hank to do. Meanwhile, the geniuses go to an animal shelter for Christmas dogs for their wives, which honestly this scene is horrific considering the kind of stuff Dale says.
No, that's way too small.
Oh, don't worry. If you're thinking Chappie's gonna be the voice of reason, guess again.
Now, this one's old and kinda ropey. My wife would not enjoy it.
When the person at the animal shelter rightfully tells him to leave, that's when the crescendo of crazy comes out.
Maybe you two should step away from the cages.
Please, my wife is in a wheelchair. All she wants for Christmas is a big fat dog with lots of meat on his haunches.
I'll take all 9 of those little dogs on top. Wrap them up.
Okay, I'm gonna need something really adorable to wash out the horrible memories I had just witnessed.
Christmas!
Have we lost power?
Ah, there we go. The family waking up and going into the Christmas tree to get their gifts. You know, Luann looks really pretty in this scene. There's gonna be a lot more adorable scenes with Luann, by the way. Bobby gets his toilet paper, and Luann...
Oh! Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Careful, Luann, they don't call it a mangle for nothing.
Just be thankful you didn't get another kind of mangle. Hell's bells, Luann!
It's a laundry mangle.
For a white Christmas.
Bobby, I would really be more specific with what you're saying. People might be thinking you're giving a different kind of gift to Luann. You know, something in a brick. That would be pretty expensive at that size.
That's 4,000 sheets.
Thank you, Bobby.
Oh, of course it was toilet paper, guys. Come on. Besides, how was Bobby supposed to get his hands on some nostril winter wonder this time of year? Not that I know about any of that.
Oh, I got you a disc man. And Uncle Hank, I got you a pair of Timberland boots. And I got toilet paper and a laundry mango.
In a partridge in a pear tree. No, seriously though, those are horrible gifts. How dare you do Luann dirty like that, after all she worked for? After Peggy wondered where her gift is, Hank tells her to go check the office. And when she races in to check for it, she finds that there's nothing there until she saw the grandfather clock and is not all too pleased with it. You know, sometimes Peggy Hill's inflated ego and sense of self-worth kind of annoys me. This time, I feel this reaction is 100% justified.
I do not want a grandfather clock.
And I do not want toilet paper.
Again, really cute reaction from Luann mirroring Peggy's reaction to her gift. Hank takes the grandfather clock to the garage and closes it, which is honestly a really dumb mistake considering what happens. What dumb mistake you say, my friends? Well, just watch, just watch. Hank ponders with the poster of Tom Landry, which is kind of foreshadowing for this part, as he turns on the grandfather clock and admires it and its wonderful craftsmanship. Which, to be fair, the grandfather clock is a pretty good piece of equipment and a nice decorative piece, although it's not better than a computer. Hank notices there's a chip on the side of the grandfather clock, probably from him carrying it to the garage, and decides to varnish it. And of course, since there's no ventilation, Hank starts tripping balls from the fumes. See how I was talking about? No ventilation, varnish, tripping balls. Also, how does Hank not realize that? Considering how much of a handyman he is, it should have been priority number 1. Being all wonker bonkers adonkers on the fumes, he sees his reflection in the pendulum and starts to lose conscious as he falls back on the ground. Losing consciousness, the last thing he sees before slipping away is the poster of Tom Landry. Guess that's it. Hank's dead. Guys, I'm joking. He's fine, don't worry. Can you imagine though? Hank awakens inside of a grandfather clock / whack-a-mole style contraption as he looks upon his reflection and sees that he's a whack-a-mole. Then a quarter comes in as the games begin. Now, this is just my interpretation of what this is going on, but I think this is a metaphor about the future and the uncertainty of it, whether or not it's safer to go out or to stay inside and be sheltered, not fearing being hit. Hank tries to fight it as he sees a toilet paper. Looking down, he sees Bobby.
I'm wearing diapers, Father.
What?
Now, normally I would say something like, that boy ain't right, but you did this, Hank.
I'm going backwards. I'm a baby now. The future is bad. You said so yourself. We get that back.
I mean, again, Bobby's not wrong, you know? You can't just put this kind of, paranoia on someone impressionable as Bobby and expect him to be like, that's normal. While still fighting against the machine, he sees his hallucinogenic vision of Tom Landry.
Coach Landry, you've got to get off the platform. It's a peg and gear. In a couple of seconds, it's gonna push you through that hole.
I know.
It's here that Whack-A-Mole Landry gives Hank some advice that's really good, considering it's from a hallucinogenic vision.
Not every time, Hank. The times you don't, it's pretty sweet. Sunshine, fresh air, a little football on the TV in the arcade. Every time I go up, I see a little more. Well, my turn again.
We see this kind of internal struggle before, when Buck Strickland opened that illegal food truck after trans fats were made illegal, and he had this conversation with the founding fathers about integrity and being honest and doing the right thing. It really raises the question on whether this is Hank's internal consciousness trying to reach out to Hank, or the ghostly vision of Tom Landry in whack-a-mole form. Seeing Tom Landry ascend gives Hank the courage to do it himself, but telling Bobby to not be afraid. But Bobby is too far gone and hides away in his fort made of toilet paper. Which raises the question again, if this is how Hank sees Bobby, too afraid to go out into the real world, and wraps themselves in a blanket of familiar items to shelter them from the harsh reality that the world is very uncertain and that you're almost liable to get hurt, but there's also the opportunities that you miss that make it worth going out.
Bobby, come with me. Everything is gonna be just fine. Oh!
I never thought I'd say this, but never, ever show a whack-a-mole version of Hank Hill shooting out of the hole going, bah! Hank wakes up still groggy from his varnish trip and stumbles his way to the lawnmower as he makes a hasty escape out the garage door and into fresh air. Which, by the way, you scared Luann half to death, Hank. Come on, it's not like you were oh, wait a minute. Hank gathers up all the gifts in the road as he sets one on fire.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna have to agree with Bobby here. I understand the message, but this is a little dangerous.
I want to apologize to everyone for almost ruining Christmas. There really is nothing to be afraid of about this millennium. Heck, the year 2000 only happens once in the history of man, and we're darn lucky to see it happen.
Look, I know this is technically a Christmas special, and technically I'm also doing a New Year's special, so this can be considered a Christmas and New Year's episode. So, Hank lights the toilet paper torch and hands it to Bobby, letting him set fire to the toilet paper as sort of a symbolic way to, I don't know, I guess you could say it's a symbolic way of letting go of all that paranoia of Y2K and just letting the future come as it happens. As Hank pushes the grandfather clock to the fire, Peggy stops him, saying that the more she looks at this, the more she sees herself as an intellectual.
I got you a real Christmas present.
A system? Really?
A blueberry one. It'll be here tomorrow.
Aw, ain't that sweet? Now you can have a computer and a grandfather clock. Or you can just take back everything you said and kick it straight into the fire. That works too. By the way, what does Con think of this fire?
Hey, hillbillies! Those aren't logs, you know. Yeah, they for wipey.
Ending the episode with a beautiful snowfall. You know, when it comes to Christmas specials and even New Year specials, this one is pretty okay. You got Hank and Dale's calmness during the craziness as everything slowly builds up of unnecessary panic over the shortness of items because everyone was buying things, which is kind of topical if you watch this during 2020 and the events that expired. So that was Helenium. What do you guys think? Did you like the episode? Let me know in the comment section below. What'd you think? And do you remember the whole incident with Y2K? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. And until then, I'll see you guys when you visit the Owlery again. Thanks for watching, fam. Don't forget to like the video, share with your fans, comment on what you thought about the episode, or just whatever. And subscribe for more. Hit the bell to let you know when I upload my next video. Check out these 2 videos, it'll take you to more of my content. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!